So here we are in the garage. Got a lovely Mercedes here. We have got my M3 Touring here. This is what we're here for. So guys, here we have it, the MK7.5 Golf R. This is a 5-door hatchback. It is a 2-litre inline 4 turbocharged petrol engine. Good afternoon, everyone. So it's been a while since I posted a YouTube video. The main reason for that, as some of you know, recently the UK government has inconvenienced me by placing me on a driving ban. I did have an option, it's either 6 points or a driving ban. I decided to go with the 28-day driving ban, as I thought 6 points was a bit too hefty. So today, as you've seen from the title of the video, this is going to be about the Golf R that I recently purchased, salvage car, very cheap compared to Golf R's going on the market. But that's for a reason. As you've seen from the images or thumbnail, it is badly damaged, mainly front end. I've not really spoken about a lot about myself and what I do. I briefly touched upon it in the first video, but essentially I work in tech, so I do have a 9-to-5 job and I do other things as well. So I have a property portfolio. So I used to invest in property, not anymore. I no longer invest in property anymore. Long story short, it's not really worth it in my opinion anymore. The returns on investments are just no longer there. It's a lot of hassle and stress. Also, I do trade stocks and I do a little bit of forex trading. I do prefer trading stocks though, so I do that on the side. So those are the main 3 things that I do. And I started looking at how I could do another side hustle. So a friend approached me and said, why not try doing salvage car builds? That's basically buying cars on auction that are insurance write-offs and fixing them up and trying to see if you can sell them for a little profit. So I just thought, why not give it a try? So what I wanted to do, I didn't want to start too big. I didn't want to start with like an expensive car. I wanted to start with a sort of I'll say moderately valued vehicle, because the Golf Rs are not cheap, but they're not crazy expensive as well. And when you're starting something new, you don't want to start too expensive. So I thought, let me start with something not too crazily expensive, because if it goes wrong, you will lose a lot of money. But if you buy something cheaper and it goes wrong, which there's a high chance it does because it's your first time starting something, you won't lose too much if it goes wrong. So the best thing to do is start small, learn, and take it from there. So when you do make mistakes, they're not very expensive. But at the same time, I did say to my friend that actually spoke to me about looking at this business, I said to him, look, why buy a 5 grand car when you can buy a 50 grand car, for example? And how do I say this? If the 5 grand car and the 50 grand car have similar damages, the cost sort of, not the cost, but the workload to fix both cars would be, I thought it would mainly be a bit similar. If the damages are similar, obviously the more expensive car might be more technical and might be more tricky to fix. But my thought process was, if you have for example, you make £1,000 on a 5 grand car, you would make 10 times that on a 50 grand car. But it actually doesn't really work like that. It's a lot more complex than that. It's not just simple, you invest this much, you make this much. Theoretically, that is the case. That's how it works theoretically, but it's a lot more complex than that. And then again, he said, look, you're better off starting small. You've got no experience in this. I'm not even a mechanic. I'm not a mechanic. So I'm going to have to sort of look at mechanics and see who can assist me with the mechanical fixes and bodywork and all that sort of thing to get the car up and running. So automatically, that's a disadvantage, because if a mechanic or bodywork guy was to, or someone that's got very good links to people that can fix vehicles, if they was to start the business, their cost to fix the car is a lot lower than yours, because you're not hands-on, you know. But at the same time, that doesn't really matter if you're trying to scale the business model, I guess. Because, for example, let's say you scale to 5 or 10 cars even. You can't fix 10 cars yourself. Well, you can, but it'll take you forever. So I think it makes sense to learn. And I think it's good to learn this as well, because it's what you're trying to do and it's a skill at the end of the day. You don't have to be a mechanic to start this venture, I would say. From what I've seen, you don't have to be a mechanic, but it does help a lot if you are a mechanic. So the plan is to obviously learn about mechanical work and how to fix cars and that sort of thing. And this is education, I guess, for the viewers as well, because they can see the whole process of buying a car, a salvage car, fixing it, and then eventually, hopefully, selling it at a profit, hopefully. But you know, you can have losses as well. But the main thing is learning something. You make a mistake, what did you learn? So yeah, that's it. And I'm on the way to the garage now where the Golf R is. So we'll be there in like 2 minutes. So I'm gonna show you guys the full damage, and we're just gonna talk about the car. So here we are. We have arrived at the garage where the Golf R is located. Busy garage. That's a good sign. When a garage is busy, that means they're making money, and everybody likes making money. But yeah, here we are. So I'm just gonna get out of the car, flip the camera around so that we can take a look at this vehicle and yeah, show you guys around and the damage. So here we are in the garage. Got a lovely Mercedes here. We have got my M3 Touring here. Now, this is what we're here for. This is the Golf R.
Now we try to start. If you start, oh, that's so stupid.
I'm gonna move the car so that we can see that they're doing work here. So I'm gonna move this around so that we can see the front end of the car, which is where the main damage is. Introduce yourself.
I'm the only person counting money. I don't do anything else.
So that guy is Alex the mechanic. So he'll be helping us with this project. So guys, here we have it, the MK7.5 Golf R. This is a 5-door hatchback. It is a 2-litre inline 4 turbocharged petrol engine. It has out of the factory, it has 310 horsepower and 400 Newton meters of torque. A lot of people do tune these cars. You see a lot of them are stage 1, stage 2, even stage 3 and above. So this is a fan favorite when it comes to tuning cars. And as you know, us petrol heads, we love modifying our cars. But this one's gonna stay standard. As we can see, the condition from the inside of the car, sorry about the lighting, it's not too great, the lighting, but the back seats are all intact. It's fine. Here is the rear windshield of the car. Everything seems to be in decent nick inside. So I want to speak about the airbags. So the actual airbags, when I bought the car, the airbags they all needed replacing. All the airbags needed replacing. So we've actually replaced the airbags. I'll see if I can get a clip of how it looked like before, but you can see the seat belts have been fixed as well, because when the airbags went, the seat belts also needed replacing as well. So now we approach the front of the vehicle where a lot of the damage is. So as you can see here, bang, windshield is damaged. That's because of the
airbag.
So that's because of the airbag. So this will need replacing. Then we have some bodywork that needs adjusting and replacing here. So this is the front wing, front wing. And then we have the bonnet. As you can see, the bonnet is not going to be fixed. It's actually going to be replaced, right?
Yeah,
because
there's no point in replacing this one.
Yeah, there's no point repairing this. We're just gonna replace the bonnet. They're not too expensive, the Golf R bonnets. They're not too expensive, so we're not gonna bother trying to repair it. We're just gonna replace the bonnet, and then the other side wing. As you can see, there's it's been dented, and there's a bit of scratches here as well. So that would need replacing. But the side profile of the car, there's no damage when you look at it from the side, apart from the wing as mentioned. I believe if we go to the front of the car, actually, this is the really bad damage. This is the front. It's a crash bar, front radiator.
The crash valve, the radiators, and then see the damage inside, if it's got any damage inside the engine or not. But the engine is start and run. The intake is broken. When you start, it goes in a higher rev.
Yeah,
so we can replace the.
So we need to replace the intake manifold. So where is the intake manifold in this engine?
Intake manifold.
Okay, so this is the intake manifold,
Yeah.
and then this is
through the intake manifold. You see this throttle body.
Yes.
It's gone through inside the intake manifold.
Okay.
You have to replace complete.
Sorry guys, I know nothing about all this mechanical work. So we have our good friend Alex, the mechanic, who's gonna basically be helping us with the build of this vehicle and bring it back to life. So this is a insurance write-off. It's a categorized car, but it does start. So when we actually check the car, I wanted to make sure that the car actually starts. So it does run and drive. So we have the intake manifold, we have the passenger side headlight. So the passenger side headlight is actually in good condition, it's fine. So that doesn't need replacing. Also, this is a front radiator. Yeah, radiator, this one. Yeah, that one looks like it's in good nick. And then
it's alright.
This radiator is fine as well.
We have to take it off and check the aircon radiator, engine radiator, and then see what other damage is inside. And
yeah. So I think it's fair to say.
Finish that, we can do the bodywork. The bodywork is not a big deal because we're getting all the new bonnet, new winds, new bumper.
Yeah.
Just putting in, that's all.
Yeah.
But
So
the main thing is seeing the engine, if there's any damage or not.
yeah. So hopefully there's no engine damage. But from what we can see, clearly the front radiator and crash bar is the biggest damage on this vehicle. So yeah, that's just a brief walk around of the vehicle, the damage. If we look on the roof is fine. Doesn't look like there appears to be any damage on the roof. Rear windshield's fine. So yeah. Yeah. Spoke about the airbags. So it wasn't like this before. The airbags have been all replaced in this vehicle alongside the seat belts. So these cars are
got a digital screen.
Yes. So we got a digital dash there.
18-inch screen for the play. It's touch.
This is a touch screen, you're saying?
Yeah.
It's a touch screen. Okay, 18-inch touch screen.
Yeah.
Okay, that's nice. And this one here is actually, well, some of these cars actually come in manual, 6-speed manual, but this one is a 7-speed DSG. Yeah, so this is an automatic vehicle. So the automatic ones actually cost a bit more. So retail price for this car, this car has just under 90,000 miles. So the retail price, when we looked at Auto Trader, for these cars, they were about, with similar mileage, this is a 17, so it's the 2017 vehicle. They retail at about, on the lower end, 14, 15,000 on the lower end. So it's not a cheap car. You know, these cars they're not cheap, but they're not the most expensive. But one of the main reasons why I chose to buy this vehicle is because it's very popular, especially amongst drivers under the age of, say, 35. A lot of people under the age of 35, they love these cars.
And it's 4x4, safe to drive.
Yeah.
It's not slipping like M140 or...
Yeah, so the difference between like something like this and the M140 is that we have four-wheel drive. And a lot of us young drivers are absolute maniacs. So having four-wheel drive helps a lot. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I went for this car. It's a popular car. So yeah, that is a brief breakdown of the cheapest Mark 7.5 Golf R that I have come across in the UK. So when looking at the front of the car, we have the intake manifold, needs replacing. We have the driver side headlight, needs replacing. We have the radiators at the front with the crash bar that needs replacing. But the thing with these cars is, with damaged cars, as many of you know, when you actually start stripping the car and removing damaged parts.
More damage.
What was that, Alex?
We finding more damage after that.
Yeah. So as you guys have heard, it's very usual to find more damage as you start stripping the car.
Like as see this water pipe is damaged. Can you see that? It's broken. That's why it's got no water inside the car.
Yeah.
And the radiator is obviously broken as well.
Yeah.
But let's see.
Yeah, we'll see.
When we take this radiators off, we can find out.
Yeah. So the costs add up. They do add up. So when you actually look at a salvage car, you really need to take into consideration unforeseen circumstances. So you really need to consider that when you're pricing up a salvage vehicle. And I believe I got this car at a decent price. It is my first one, so there will be mistakes, but we'll see how it goes. And I guess this is for educational purposes for the viewers as well. So yeah, stay tuned. There's going to be more that we're going to uncover about this build. So guys, that is the end of the first video. Like I said, this is my first project car, so wish me luck. I will be needing it. We'll see how it goes. And the main thing is learning from this and gaining experience, so that if I continue to do this, I'll have more knowledge, so I'll know what to look out for, and I'll know how to maybe learn how to fix some of these problems, especially the easier ones. Again, I'm not a mechanic, so I have to gain the knowledge and experience to understand what's actually going on, the nitty-gritty of the sort of mechanical work and all of that stuff. So yeah, wish me luck guys, and thanks for watching. Take care.